So this is the one that I think is going to be the spiciest one of the day. So obviously with the talent that we're talking about in a guy like Kittle, in a guy like Ayuk, you've talked a lot about their ability to route run and their ability to get downfield and their speed. And I think you kind of hedged saying that, we haven't been able to see them utilized in the right way. And a lot of that's going to come. There's a lot of factors. I think the running game is a big factor because play action is going to play a role in that and help any quarterback, throw that deep ball better. But now we have Trey Lance. We, gave up 3 first-round picks to get this guy. Seems like you're pretty high on them. Make the case right now to everybody that is looking for Jimmy G to be the day one starter. Why is Trey Lance the solution, and why should he be the starter for the 49ers come week 1?
I just think you know what you have with Jimmy. I think what you see is what you get. Injuries or not, he's never going to be the guy that puts them over the hump. I think in some ways, I think the injury in 2018 hurt Jimmy more than it helped him. And sometimes I wonder if he hadn't gotten hurt in 2018, if that would have just sped up his exit from the 49ers. Because everything since then, it just doesn't seem like he's Shanahan's guy. Everything they've said, everything they've done, at least in this offseason, the Brady rumors,
Deshaun Watson,
being tied to every quarterback under the sun. They're sniffing around everything because they just they haven't seen him as a long-term solution since 2018. So,
but let's put it this way, Rich, because I kind of want to, obviously the injuries are there, but let's say Jimmy G is healthy, Trey Lance is healthy. From what you've seen on Trey Lance with tape, obviously what you've seen with Jimmy G on tape, you are Kyle Shanahan. Who are you starting week 1 and why?
I'm starting Trey Lance. We've seen what Kyle Shanahan did with a rookie quarterback in Washington. They went 9-7, won the division, and were on the verge of running the Seahawks out of their stadium in the wild card playoff game until RG3 got hurt. I think they were up like 14-0 at halftime, and that was another. If you need more proof of why Shanahan should start a rookie, I mean, Russell Wilson, he was a rookie. And I think they won the division. No, they didn't win the division. The 49ers did, but they another playoff
much better with him as a quarterback.
Yeah, they played much better with Russell Wilson as quarterback than they were getting from Matt Flynn in training camp. So
I think even in San Diego, you saw what happened with Herbert. How that offense
even Baker Mayfield showed promise when he started, 3 games into the 2018 season.
Mm-hmm.
There's lots of rookies you can point to on lesser teams or coaching staffs that made an impact right away. And so there's no reason to think Lance wouldn't have as much or greater of an impact on the offense.
What do you see in Lance that you don't see in Jimmy G?
Understanding the game a little bit better. And I know he played FCS defenses, whatever. I mean, Lance has the athleticism, and that always translates. It doesn't matter if you're an FCS player or an FBS, Pac-12, SEC, Big 12 player, quarterback, or whatever. It doesn't matter. It all translates. I think he's just more patient. I think he understands. There was a lot of talk about his football knowledge, watching his game tape, and then it comes out like, okay, the 49ers got through the entire install with Trey Lance, during OTAs and whatever, the 1 or 2 weeks that they had, and you're kind of like, that's interesting. We always knew that, he was, talked up as this really smart kid, but damn, they got through the entire install. I mean, that's, that would seem to think he's ahead of schedule. Obviously it's going to be different when they get him in pads and they get him in preseason games and things like that. But if the kid is understanding more than you thought he was, it's probably time to start looking at him as the starter. And I really think they kind of messed that up a little bit by underrating what he does. And like how they sold him to the fan base as a guy like, there probably won't be a competition to, now they can't really deny that there's going to be a quarterback competition. So I just think he gives the offense more than Garoppolo does at this point. I mean, they can run the same offense in 2019 with Lance back there, and you get more potential production because of Lance's legs that Jimmy couldn't give, just because he's an immobile quarterback.
Right.
So at a bare minimum, you get 2019's offense with an added running element to it, and you got a team that can probably win 10 or 11 games that way and get into the playoffs with Trey Lance. So he gives the offense, but it's more than just physical ability. Like I said, I mean, he understands the game at a deeper level than he gets credit for. And you can see that in his college tape, how he progresses through his reads. And he wasn't playing in an easy offense. He was playing in a pretty
pro style,
more pro style than most college offenses. And I'm hesitant to use that word, but if we just think of it in terms of under center and having to read defenses and things like that, then yeah, it was a little more pro style than it gets credit for. And you can see all the ways that he's processing the game, from shotgun, from under center, even making simple reads on a zone read, or they run mostly power option, quarterback power option at North Dakota State with him,
mm-hmm.
And you could just see how he processes the game. Now, the flip side of that is that he is playing FCS defenses, okay, but I'm not looking at the talent he's playing against, and you can't really do that without looking at the talent he had playing with him, because they weren't very good.
And decision making is decision making, regardless of
if you know how to
the talent.
Yep, and if you know how to make decisions, then that translates. It's the smarter you are in the NFL, the better off you're going to be.
Now, to temper expectations, I know you've gotten deep into his tape. What are some of the critiques that you're seeing in him, or areas where he really needs to focus on to be, a good quarterback in the NFL?
He does need to clean up some of his mechanics. That's the only kind of big concern I have. I mean, he spent the last year and a half cleaning him up with his quarterback coach, whoever he hired. It was Quincy Avery, and then he started working with John Beck. But you never know how that's going to pan out in a game. I mean, everything we've seen suggests it's probably going to be okay. But I'm a little wary and skeptical that quarterbacks meaningfully change their mechanics in the course of their career. I mean, just look at Aaron Rodgers as someone who says he works on footwork every year, every offseason, and he's doesn't have the greatest footwork. I mean, Patrick Mahomes looks like Krusty the Clown on a lot of throws,
right,
with his footwork, and but for them it works. I mean, they're just great quarterbacks. Great quarterbacks have it no matter what. And Lance, I think, is going to be a very special player. And I don't necessarily think the mechanics are going to hinder him, but if it's, there is a couple things that he really does need to clean up. Like, he has a tendency to drop his hips when he's throwing a deeper pass, like on the windup, where you don't want your quarterback dipping his hips to get the power behind the throw. You want him rotating his hips through the throw. And that's some of the things it looks like he has cleaned up. Whether he does it in a game is a different story.
Right. That's great. So you're on team Lance for the start, right?
Yes. To put it bluntly.
You got, and Pill, I don't know what that name's supposed to be, but they say you're spitting. So I
appreciate that. I don't think I'm that smart at all. There's a lot of things I'm still learning, and I tend to stay away from things that I don't know. So,
well, Rich, I really appreciate you taking the time, man. I really enjoy the X's and O's, because that's something that I'm still learning, and being part of this 49er community, I'm gaining a lot more from watching guys like you, Eric Crocker, the guys that come on Grant Cohn's show. But I truly appreciate you taking the time to sit down with me and go over this. Hopefully we could do it again.
Yeah, absolutely.
sometime.